Yes, absolutely. Like, and as bad as that is, though, right, what we find to be the absolute worst is the death of a breadwinner, right? Why? Because with bankruptcy, there's a hope that you can still earn income and recover from that. But if someone passes away, there's no hope at all. Okay. So, in your opinion, what's the purpose of life insurance? And they say what they say, right? And whatever. Okay. So, what we find, right, is that life insurance does not protect a life, but it protects the income that makes life possible for a family. Okay. So, this is what we call the theory of decreasing responsibility. This is how insurance and investments were designed to work ideally. Okay. So, this is how life goes. And Ian's like, I'm going to write that down. I saw his eyes go right to the pen and paper, right? So, and again, just as an aside, you guys, I think that they took the theory out. I don't remember if it's still in there or not. It's still in there? Okay, good. I think at one point it was out, right? But like, honestly, the theory for me, and again, I'm not poo-pooing anything. The new presentation is amazing, okay, right? I'm just telling you guys like what I've been doing and what I've been using because it's been helping me, okay, right? And this is what helped me. But for me, the theory tees it up. The theory, I believe, right, our company coined that. Like Art Williams was like, this is what it is. This is our company. This is what we teach, right? And so it's like and to say this is how insurance and investments were designed to work ideally. And I do hand motions. If you guys have ever been to a Howard Lashner talk or training, right? He does a lot of hand motions and a lot of gestures. And he actually, I remember him teaching me this when he was teaching me how to explain the difference between index funds and American funds and stuff like that, right? He specifically had me practice hand motions with him, right? But this guy makes over $1 million a year and is our top investment advisor, right? So if hand motions are going to work, you know what I'm saying? Get them jazz hands out, okay? He already knows about that right there. Richard practices every night. During his jazzercise, there's always the, right? Dominic, on the other hand, is more about Zumba. We know, right? He's got the Latina wife, Elsa. We love her. Can you guys imagine Dominic doing Zumba? Let's just take a moment. No, just kidding. I tease. So I was like, I'm going home. I hate you. But anyways, okay. So this is how insurance and investments were designed to work ideally. In the early years, a family might not have a lot of money. Why? Because we're just getting started, right? But we have a lot of obligations, kids, debt, mortgage, okay? So a permanent loss of income would be devastating. So it's in those moments, that's when you need a lot of life insurance, right? Because when someone dies, what happens to their paychecks? They stop, but what happens to those bills? They keep coming, right? So when the paychecks stop and the bills keep coming, it's disaster. You can't recover from that, right? But the good news is that 20, 30 years down the road, right? Kids are grown, mortgage is paid, you took care of all your financial obligations, right? And in the same 20, 30 years, what do we hope to be doing is retiring. And what do we need a lot of in retirement? Money and Bengay, little Tiger Balm, some icy hot, right? Right? So one of two things happen to all of us, right? Tina's like, Sophia, I do believe that my sense of humor is categorized as dad joke, though I'm not a dad. But I channel my inner father, my father's heart. Okay, right? But it gets them laughing, you guys. And again, I like them to laugh because the information sticks more. It kind of wakes them up for a moment because there's a lot of information. And it builds a good feeling and a good rapport, okay? And it makes me seem human, not just technical, info, because a lot of this information is kind of dense, right? So anyways, okay. And that's why I try to ham it up with you guys, right? I hope you don't mind, okay? So, and I like to have fun myself, okay? Anyways, all right. So, so you need a lot of money and Bengay, Tiger Balm, right? A little icy hot, right? Okay. So one of two things happen to all of us. Either we die before we retire or we live to retirement. So either way, you have to protect your loved ones in case you die too soon, but you need to protect yourself in case you live too long, right? Longevity now, the average age men and women are living to, for men, it's 90. For women, it's 95, right? You don't want to outlive your money, okay? So now the great thing about us is we're actually the only company out there that's trying to get you out of the need for life insurance. We don't want you to have to need life insurance by helping you become self-insured, right? Because when you think about it, does Bill Gates need life insurance? No. If he dies, right, what happens to the family? They get a boatload of money, right? Exactly, right? So what we're trying to do is help you become little mini Bill Gates, little Billy Gates, right? Okay, right? So what we say is right, Ian loves it, man. Have life insurance when you need it. Of course, be responsible, okay? But at the exact same time, we're going to help you save and invest your money so one day you become self-insured, right? So what's better? How much is in your life insurance right now, Ian? Oh, about $500,000, right? Okay. So what's better? $500,000 in life insurance or $500,000 in cash? Better in cash, right? Yeah, because if you die, your family gets it. But if you live, you get it, right? But does every single other life insurance company want you to pay for life insurance your whole life? They do, right? Ever hear of whole life insurance, right? Now at the end of the day, is that good for you or good for the company if you're paying for life insurance your whole life? Good for the company, right? That's why we are the only company out there doing the right thing for families, helping you get self-insured. Okay, so that's how I describe the theory. Okay, now, lots of insurance seeds, lots of investment seeds. Okay, this sets it up. You're either going to die too soon or live too long. Either way, right? You got to protect your loved ones because you die too soon. Protect your loved ones to live too long. You got to do both. Okay. I also use time frames, by the way, when I say 20, 30 years down the road, 20, 30 years down the road. Why? Because I want them to know like they're going to need a 20, 30 year life insurance plan for most people, sometimes longer if they're really young, right? And that with investments, it's going to be a long range. We need to grow and accumulate the money. It's going to take some time, right? But helping them become self-insured, right? And also, I love to use polarizing statements. Okay, for example, we are the only company that's trying to get you out of the need for life insurance. Okay, because who wants to pay for life insurance? And guess what, you guys, you can level with them, right? If it ever comes down to it's like, look, I don't even want to pay for mine, but I do because it's the most selfless thing I can ever do for my family. It's not about me. It's about them. Right? Like I want to know, like I may regret my like 5th designer bag, things like that, right? But I will never regret the money that I put towards my life insurance, and stuff, right? But then I talk about whole life. But does every other company want you to pay for life insurance your whole life? I use the words whole life because they probably got some whole life, right? And or even if they have term or just group stuff, down the road when we do the life insurance presentation, right, they'll remember me talking about whole life, okay? But especially if they have whole life, then they're like, oh crap, I think that's me, right? So it's like we're planting those seeds and we circle it back to say, right, that's why we're the only company doing the right thing 100% of the time for families, okay? So what is that telling them? Exactly that. And that is exactly true, right? So theory, love the theory, okay? Any questions on that? Good stuff, right? How investments and insurance were designed to work ideally, right? I like those words too. I use words like optimize, ideal, right? Good, better, best, right? Because people want what? The best. They don't want okay. They want the best in everything in their life. And so we're showing them that, right? Okay. So I say, okay. So these are the various companies we partner with. Like I mentioned, we're a total service financial brokerage. We work in every area of finance, right? So we do a lot in investments. So we actually work a lot with businesses, nonprofits, things like that, organizations, and we offer amazing 401k plans. Okay. We also do free financial wellness workshops. So we do a lot of these financial workshops. Churches, businesses, schools, libraries, community groups, whatever, will come in and teach these important financial concepts, and we can choose different topics, things like that. We generally bring food too, right? But we'll go and teach these important concepts for free. And then we'll give participants a chance to be able to meet with us privately to discuss their own personal situation for free, right? So we do a lot of that. Okay. We also have various guaranteed products and stuff as well, right? So we help families there. We have managed accounts for some of our higher net worth individuals, right? And we do a lot in investments like retirement, IRAs, rollovers, college education savings, emergency funds, wealth building, right? And in fact, you mentioned that you have money in the bank. We actually have accounts where you can responsibly invest, your emergency fund, right? That you can access at any time, no additional fees or penalties to pull out, right? But at least it's growing while you're not touching it, because not every day is a rainy day, right? We also have legal protection. I don't know if you guys have your wills set up, right? But wills are generally very expensive, between $500 and $1,500 easy, right? But with our network of lawyers, you can get a will, power of attorney, and living will done, both husband and wife, for just $36. I think it's $38 now. I think $38, right? And they're yours to keep, right? We also do ID theft protection, big deal these days. We have some long-term care partnerships. Now, to be honest, I think that we recently went away with this, so I probably need to update my slide. But sometimes you can partner with other people, to do long-term care, right? We help people free up money. Why overpay for things, right? So we help you save money in things like auto and home or business insurance. It's like one quick free phone call shops out all the biggest companies, right? And then we can see if we can save you money from one top-rated company to another. I saved $1,000 a year switching from one top-rated company to another, right? We also have the smart home security, which is really awesome. You can unlock your doors, spy on your dog, things like that, make sure things are good at home, right? We don't have the health insurance partnerships anymore. At least we don't actively, but sometimes I have, I know people that I can recommend and refer or something like that, right? And the only thing we do in-house is the life insurance. Everything else we broker out and partner with these big companies, but we actually bought a 100-year-old life insurance company, Massachusetts and life insurance company, Millico, right? Just rebranded it, a 100-year-old company, just so we can offer, and I'm not saying this lightly, literally the finest life insurance on the market. We're very proud of that. Okay, so that's what I say on this slide. Okay, so first of all, I love the slide because it shows that we do everything, right? When I work with clients, I usually do everything with them, right? Which also helps with retention, and people love the one-stop shop, okay, right? So I start with investments because I want to end with life insurance, okay? And also I start with investments because people would rather talk about investments, think about investments, and life insurance. It's just the way it is, right? Very few people are like, yeah, let's talk about some life insurance, something like that, right? So I talk about the 401k plan. Each segment is a mini commercial. It's like a come sniff the buffets, and stuff like that, right? Because they're going to be interested in at least one of these, right? I remember we got a client, Therese and I, because they needed a will. And they turned into a life and an investment client, right? But they needed a will. Therese loves going in that direction. She uses wills a lot, right? And stuff, because people need them, In fact, I'm going to follow up with another client. They weren't at the time, as interested in getting a will. It was in the back of their mind. Things got busy. Now they really want the will because people are dying around them and stuff. And guess what? The husband has a $200,000-$300,000 rollover also waiting, because now he's over 59 and a half. So we'll get a chance to talk about that too, right? Going in, talking about the will, okay? But the 401k plans, like, look, this might be a little outside of your comfort zone, okay? But, this is a really great, this is a really great opportunity to perhaps offer 401ks and things like that, right? I've done my first 401k recently, and that's recurring income. Thank you very much, right? That's recurring income like managed accounts are, okay, which is pretty cool, right? This gives me a chance to talk at the financial wellness workshops, right? Or whatever. I love doing seminars. Seminars are fantastic. You reach a lot. It's basically doing the KT in front of a boatload of people. You do it once, and then you get a chance to just set up the F&A meetings next, right? I talk about guaranteed stuff. So annuities, like I said before, is just basically another name for guarantee and everything, right? So, so that is, great there. And then the managed accounts, I drop a plug for that. I'm sure when I get my 65 this month, I'll have to, change the way in which, I kind of mentioned some of these things, but, some of our higher net worth clients, or I'll probably bring other words into that, people looking for particular specific types of investments or whatever it is. I definitely spend time talking about this, right? And again, here's the buffet. It's like, it says like seafood, right? And then it's like shrimp, lobster, crab cakes, whatever it is. Okay. That's what I'm doing here. And I use redundant language, like we know this, right? But they might hear different things. Like they may or may not have heard of an IRA, but they probably heard of a rollover, right? And stuff. So technically a rollover will be an IRA, but I'm saying, those things, college education savings. I'm not saying 529, right? I'm saying college education savings because that's what they're thinking about. I dropped the plug on the emergency funds because a lot of people have more money in the bank than they need to, and stuff. So they might as well have it responsibly invested, right? And stuff. Very attractive. So a lot of clients hook on to those things, right? Talk about the will, kind of breeze over this thing here. Talk about freeing up money, right? Everybody loves to save money. I use my personal example. I kind of breeze over that. And then I talk about the life insurance, okay, which is like, and I talk about it in a very positive way, right? That we bought in a very true way, right? We bought a 100-year-old company, rebranded it so we can offer the finest life insurance. And I also mentioned this is the only thing we do in-house. Everything else we work with these companies because even if and I'm setting things up for like if they're Googling us, right? And they're like, like they're like Primerica is bad or this or that or something like that. It's like, no, because the products and services we offer are just these companies. The only thing we actually offer is the life insurance. And our life insurance truly, like we win awards and stuff like that for this, right? It is phenomenal. And I end that on a very positive thing. And we literally offer the finest life insurance on the market. And we're very proud of that, right? So not being like, oh, whatever. It's like, heck yeah, right? Hold on, I got a question here. I know we're going to need. Okay, what fund do you put people's emergency funds into? So generally, it depends on like their total picture and how much money they have everywhere. Usually, I'll do something a little bit more moderate for them, like the trifecta, right? So maybe income fund, American Balance, American Mutual, because they'll still get a pretty good, 33, 34, 33, 33, like kind of like an even split. If they're younger and they're really, really, really unlikely to change anything, I'll instead of like switch it up and maybe do more growth fund, and stuff. If they don't really have a lot, like growth fund, American Mutual, American Balance, I generally have that mix in there somewhere, maybe like a 70-30 on that, or usually maybe like 50% growth fund and then 25-25 American Balance, American Mutual, just so that they're getting some growth and they're not getting as many dividends, right? Like they're going to get the dividends from the American Mutual and American Balanced, which is great because that means they're making money regardless of how the market's doing, right? Because that's just profit from the company. But the problem is that they pay sometimes more in tax, because of the dividend. So the dividend is like they're just writing you a check and giving you money. Anytime money is materialized, you're going to get taxed on it, right? So, but with the growth fund, it's more your growth is mostly coming from capital gains. So you're not actually getting taxed as much on that because there'll be maybe a little dividends here and there, but not much, right? So it depends on what their needs are, but that's generally what I do there. Okay. So now it's 10:45. I know that there's like the winners event. If you want, it's just this slide and this slide. Oops. I have some backup examples and stuff like that. Do you guys want me to try to breeze through this real quick or save this for next time and I'll get into the presentation? And what do you guys want me to do?
You can save it for next time.
Save for next time? Okay. All right. Excellent. Well, good. So then it's just like these last two slides. I hope this is helpful for you guys. Just kind of the psychology behind it, but this is like, this tees it up and helps me to really get that. And then, so we'll finish up these two slides and then we'll start to go into the presentation and I'll break it down, the same way that I'm breaking this down. Is this a good style for you guys? Is it helpful? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Excellent. All right. Any questions or anything like that before we kind of wrap here?
No, I'm good.
Oh, Richard, do you mind if I ask for clarification of your question? I can't hear.
You're muted, Richard.
I had to unmute.
Yes.
Yeah, what I call the affective areas of the business has to do with dealing with people and their life situations. And that
Okay.
we've all, if you've been in securities investments very long, we all have them.
Hmm.
But there's a part of that man, you got to reach down into your heart, soul, and gut and deal with people sometimes in not very happy circumstances.
Right. Right.
I've had a couple recently. I had an investment client very prematurely, very young, die.
Hmm.
And his widow, who I've been dealing with, she's a very senior vice president of a bank.
Wow.
I've been going to her office. She openly tells me she's still in denial. She's only 48 years old, has 2 boys in college. And of course, now they're gone. She's sitting in a totally empty house. The boys are away at school.
Absolutely.
And there's parts of this that you just have to really realize. You may go spend a half hour with somebody, but you didn't make any money from that. But
Yeah.
you're building that, you're continuing that relationship that really, really matters. As
Absolutely.
you're dealing with your clients. And that's to me, it's one of the most rewarding areas of this business.
Yes.
And, we have it on the insurance side, but we also have it on the investment and security side.
Yes.
So
No.
this man was young, but he had his house in order. His mortgage was completely paid off. He's only 52 years old.
Mhm.
Some of you know who I'm talking about, but because he'd been around the business some.
Oh.
And
Oh,
his wife
yes.
has told me she can't even drive by the hospital. She's in such denial. So I'm sitting here in her office.
Wait, that's your client? No.
Yeah, this is my investment client, but he was also in my business.
Oh, wow.
She would sit there in her office, 6 weeks after this happened, with just tears pouring down her face.
Mm,
And you're sitting there helping her with paperwork and doing stuff. Okay? We
absolutely.
need to have a session on that subject because I know from some of the comments you made throughout this presentation today and some of the things that the other people have done, this is an area that's really important, and it's just something where we really bring a lot to the table.
Absolutely.
The way our company stands behind our clients
Mhm.
and always does the right thing, and what we're able to do because of that, it's really significant. I got
Absolutely.
a few more of those, but and I know a lot of you do. But hey, one other just completely side comment. You mentioned PLPP and you also mentioned Howard Lashner. If you
Yeah.
look at the national leaderboard, Howard Lashner's in the top 2 or 3 every month and all year in PLPP. He does hundreds of those things.
Yes.
It would
Yes.
be very interesting to hear him say, why are they doing so many? I mean, you can guess,
Yeah. Yeah.
but he does a lot. It's in the hundreds. Go look him up on that.
Yeah. I've
Yeah.
actually had a conversation with him about that,
Really?
like a little bit. Yeah. Because he has shown me, like, in his hierarchy, him and or some of his people, and stuff have that. But it's because they do the full job.
Good.
And it's
Yeah.
because
You-
like, so some of them, their lead in is the will.
Exactly.
And then they go in and they talk
doing
about
that.
everything else. Because guess
Yeah.
what? If you do a will with them, it's like a mini F&A,
Right.
and
That's
so you're
exactly right.
seeing all of their assets. So that's like one of his guys, that's his foot in the door, and he's at, I don't know, about 200 in income.
Here's what I found out because I've done some PLPs out of state. You can get a little bit disoriented, not disoriented, a little bit, taken aback by in Virginia, you got to have a license for the thing. But you can live in Virginia and sell PLPP in almost every other state without a license
Mhm.
because only about 6 or 7 states require a license for PLPP. I just did one in the state of Washington. I'm about to do one today up in the Idaho Panhandle. These are friends and cousins of mine that really, really, really need legal advice. And this is by far the best way to get it.
Yeah,
But so he did make a comment about that, huh?
it's good stuff. Yeah, he did.
Lasher did?
Yeah,
Awesome.
he did. Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, good. All right, you
Right.
guys. Well, we got to wrap because the winners
Sure.
event is going to be
All right.
starting here. But yes, no, absolutely. Richard, I have a client who's a widow. Sandy knows her and stuff. And she's having a really hard time. We talk pretty much every day, and I'm actually inviting her to. We have a team dinner that we're doing on Monday night, and she's driving from a long distance. I'm like, if you want, you can stay the night at my house.
Wow.
No,
Well,
just
that's a great thing.
And
It turns out this man
Mhm.
that passed away, I happen to know his parents. They're both in their 80s. They're still alive, very
Wow.
healthy. They live in Richmond.
Wow.
And they own a big family farm up on the Northern Neck, and we're going to actually do a memorial service for the son, their
Wow.
own son. I'm going
Wow. Yeah.
to the couple days after Thanksgiving on Thanksgiving weekend.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, we also helped this lady move, Sophia and I and our our team.
That's an area that we need to talk about because
Yeah.
it's very rewarding personally,
Mhm,
but it's
mhm,
also the best thing to do for those clients to
mhm.
help them, all these various transitions and things they're going through. It's like a young couple having a baby, they need more life insurance. And we can sit down and help them with that, or
Mhm,
somebody has a medical issue or, whatever. So
mhm,
I have a life insurance policy on all of my kids. Well, they all have them now.
mhm, mhm.
This isn't necessarily for public discussion. My 26-year-old daughter has a very serious case of breast cancer, and we're moving her home. Okay. We've been getting our house ready to move her in here. She's got a surgery coming up.
Oh my
And,
goodness.
but she has, guess what? Primerica life insurance. I'm not concerned about her dying, but
Right, right,
you know
right.
what? She gets the wrong kind of diagnosis. She can also go take 70% of it and use it to
Mhm.
whatever she wants to do,
Absolutely.
And
And
so-
that's like a
She also has an investment account with me. So,
Mhm.
yeah.
Yeah. Oh, well, we definitely, Richard, would be praying for your daughter and for a full recovery.
Yeah. Hey,
And
by the way, here, just a side note, I actually looked up and found out who was the first person that ever wrote about the rule of 72. You guys are going to love this.
Huh.
The guy was a Franciscan friar. He published it in 1494.
No
He was
way!
an eminent mathematician, an artist, a scientist, a Franciscan friar in Italy. His name is Luca Pacioli. And when you read it, I mean, it's in Italian, but I have the English translation. It's astoundingly easy to understand what he described.
Wow.
He doesn't attribute where it came from, and no one's found anybody before him that wrote about it. And
Wow.
if you go look up Luca Pacioli, it's Pacioli, you can actually grab the text and actually use it to show people
That is the coolest
where that
thing.
crazy thing came from. There you go, Dr. Smith. I thought I'd give you that.
Yeah, right? That's awesome. Oh, and Dominic was asking what your daughter's name is, so we can.
Rachel, get this. You ready? It's Rachel Grace Kessinger.
Yes.
How about
Oh
that?
my goodness, Dominic's getting all engineering on us and math on us. Rule says this is the fact that natural log of 2 is about 0.72. Amazing, Dominic. Amazing. You guys are on another echelon. Richard, Dominic, and Ian need to get together and probably Andy.
Well,
I feel like Andy's got a mind like that.
Sophia, I sent you that one note the other day. I think we ought to have a roundtable conversation once in a while, once a month or twice a month, and bring up various I've got this issue. Have you guys have any things? How do I deal with this?
Absolutely. What we can do is we could maybe do whether that's a once a month thing where we could talk about those things, or maybe after every training, we can have half an hour training, half an hour, or
And then,
15
but
minute question
then
answer.
put some agenda items on the table. So when we all dial back in, we know, hey, here's, Ian's got a question about this kind of client. Dominic's got this kind of client. What do we need to do there? You're dealing
Yeah.
with this kind of.
If you guys want, I can create a Telegram. If you can Telegram me and just say, hey, I'd like to be on the Telegram, we can create a little group or something like that, and kind of keep in touch and do those sorts of things and stuff.
I think I would like it because I like picking your brain, of course.
Yes, no, absolutely. Yeah, no, we can do that.
I just think the shared experiences and backgrounds that we bring to the table can help everybody.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Well, good. Well, I do have to hop off for
All right, go.
the people that are on the winners
Sure.
call and everything. But excellent. You guys are
Thanks for
amazing.
today.
Thank you for joining me. We'll be praying, Richard, for sure for your daughter. And set up a great week. Go out there, help families, make a difference. All right.
Thank you.